Hey guys, see I'm on Makhanda, and today's topic will be about the iron structures within Makhanda and how they contribute to the community. And the first question is, who is the primary audiences of the different art structures? So I'll start with mine. Um, the audience was originally white people, which they celebrated their colonial colonial achievement in a way. They basically celebrated how they um, colonized South Africa, and that was the most part of it. And their audience were mostly white people and English-speaking South Africans, and they celebrated the the heritage of the white civilization. So now it shifted as the years passed through past apartheid era. So today, their main audience is the the National Arts Festival. People from all across the world, and the students of cultural works in Makhanda and the government and arts sectors. So yeah, I'd like to share your insights on this.
On what?
Uh, the, the audiences.
For our structures. Or for your.
Yeah, you can ask questions if you like. Okay. Okay. Can each of us represent the structure?
First,
Okay. You want to go first?
I'll go next.
Okay.
My name is Wazimaki, and I chose the Amazwe South African Museum of Literature. I chose it because it's a cornerstone of knowledge and heritage within Makhanda. But the primary audience that the museum targets is obviously the locals, root, university students, public schools within Makhanda. We also have visitors from international visitors who come to study South African history. Also have scholars and lecturers who come visit the museum, as the museum holds exhibitions, workshops. And you also have musical artists, even artists who do different and various art, as it's a perfect time to promote their art within the museum when there's exhibitions and workshops.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be the first question.
Yeah. And I heard one of my friends mention how he holds like the narratives of South African based narratives. Is that true? And how it's only like black South Africans. Is that true?
When doing my research, I found out it collects specifically the South African linguistics, like the different languages within South Africa, collecting manuscripts, also including writings. So those different South African, so that means the different South African cultures and languages are kept within the museum as they are writing, past writings are collected. So I would say, yeah, that is true.
In a way, I also found that it works similar to I know it's the museum, the one we went to. Yeah.
Oh,
The Albany Museum, yeah,
Albany.
yeah, they preserve the books. So the the people, not only in Grahamstown, but like all around, people can go and study their history there. There's like more depth into the poems and all of that.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say it works similar to that one, as it does collect a lot of historical events, paintings, writings, photos. So you can definitely learn about the local history of Makhanda, but also different places in South Africa. It's also collected within the museum.
Okay, when you mentioned South African history, like, do you think like do they only collect South African history or like all of African?
Uh, Now it mainly focuses on South African history as it's trying to show respect to the heritage of the people within South Africa. For example, Xhosa,
Yeah.
specific Xhosa people, as it's located within the Western Cape. So it would focus on South African heritage rather than going outside.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, guys? So yeah, we go on to the next structure. I'm ready to go. I'm sleeping.
Okay. Okay. Hi guys. My name is Alutano Pembe. I have chosen Rhodes University structure. Rhodes University is an institution that is located in a small town that is known as Grahamstown, in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. Um, the primary audiences of Rhodes University structure are its students. Yeah, it includes undergraduates and postgraduates. In undergraduates, they offer 6 different faculties such as law, commerce, education, pharmacy, and humanities. The Rhodes University was renewed in 1904. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you've mentioned the primary audience,
Yeah.
and I think in a way, I can add on to the audience being the school children, because sometimes I see like school children passing by on campus. They'll be going to like trips on um, watching things at the theaters or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I know for a fact that they have to do something with. They're in cooperation with schools around Grahamstown, and yeah, they're basically giving back to the community in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just my take. Mhm.
I want to ask, since Rhodes was created by a white man during colonization and stuff, do you think the audience was for black students to come?
Now we so like we once had a conversation about consent, like in this room. This other lady mentioned that Rhodes University was um, originally for white students only. Then as time went passed by, they started allowing
Students.
yeah, black students. That's why the rules in Rhodes University are like strict for like students in a sense, and we can't like keep up with the rules and stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's my take on this. Yeah. So, any questions? I guess you can present your structure.
Okay, so I'm Makhanda. So the art structure I chose is street art. The reason why I chose it because like I like how in a sense it like how free it is and like it's like every you can see it everywhere within Makhanda.
Mhm.
And then for the audiences, like it like ranges to like the whole community of Makhanda, like the students, if they want to like kind of learn a bit of history about like why street art was even, I guess, implemented in the city. Also for like National Arts Festival attendees, like whenever it's held, like they kind of like how do I say like introduce street art and like how it's like there, and it can also range to tourists. Like when they come to visit the city for the first time, they can come like and view the street art.
Mhm. That's true. That's true.
do you think street art is actual art, like versus paintings or?
Yes, I would say in its actual art. There may be some that will disagree with it, but for me, I think it's actual art because like while these artists are not like recognized, it's like I think to me like just like making art itself is art. Doesn't matter if it looks like professional or if it looks like doodling or that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you include like the homeless people as part of the audience to the street
Yes.
art?
Yes, I would.
But why?
Because like the street art is like it's like open to everyone. Like everyone can view it, even homeless people. Because like there's no restrictions saying like you can't. This kind of people can view the that art. So it's open like to everyone.
I get you, but then I don't think like um the the homeless people have time to even appreciate art in a sense.
Yeah, that's true. Like some people may not appreciate it. Some people want to view it for aesthetic reasons. And now I don't want to say like it's. I want to say it's fine because like sometimes there's certain art that you may not appreciate it, but you may like how good it looks.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's like my take with it.
Do you do you think street art has more benefits than let's say professional art that's kept in a museum? Because street art, someone can make a bad street art, and now everybody has to see it versus professional. We put it in a building, and only a few people can see if it's good or bad versus street art where if it's bad, everybody now has to look at it.
I mean, I don't want to say it has more importance than the art like you would see in like galleries. I would want to say that's like it kind of not equal, but like I would say it has its moments where like street art can like slightly matter more, and then there's moments where galleries may matter more. I would say like yeah, it has its moments.
Nice, nice. Kita.
Hello guys, my name is Nkita Pavung. So I have chosen the National Art Festival. So the National Art Festival is a public event that happens every year in Makhanda during the school June holidays.
Can you like please project your voice
Okay.
because like the voice it's not there.
My name is Nkita Paruma.
Mm.
I have chosen the National Arts Festival. So the National Arts Festival is a public event that takes place here in Makhanda. That happens every year during the school June holidays. So to answer the question, who are the primary audience for National Arts Festival? South African art lovers, international visitors, and students.
Mhm. Well, I don't know much about like what happens during. I would like to like visit. But yeah, I'm going on holidays. But I'd just like to see what happens during that festival because I'm so curious on how like things go along and all of this.
So what usually happens in the National Art Festival, artists are given a chance to present their works or sell them. So there are different types of the art styles. So some present their designers, clothes designers, some paintings, some do performances, including dancers, music, and drama. Yeah.
Oh, I all from like the National Art Festival. Are you all selected by the festival, or it can be anyone?
It can be
So,
anyone.
around the street, anyone.
Yes.
Nice, right? So I can just come pull up and just put my paintings there, and people will stand by.
Yes.
That sounds nice. Sounds
So
nice.
there's no like entrance fee for it.
No. No.
Okay.
Does it happen on a daily basis or is it just one day?
It takes 7 days.
So it's basically a
For
week.
7. Yeah. It's a week.
Damn. It sounds nice. So the second question is what kind of art or visual culture has been included in the different art structures? In regards to the monument, the 1820 monument, the memorial plaques and sculptures, they serve as um, the visual culture to like incorporate the British culture in a way. As we see, like there are a lot of sculptures around campus and at the monument itself. Those sculptures were created obviously by British people, and they include the uh, iconology of reflecting on British imperial ideals, and during they also serve for the contemporary visual art. So during the National Art Festivals, they'll hold events. That's why I found out in my research that they'll hold events at the National Arts Festival. Is it true?
Mhm.
So yeah, and then there'll be installations and venue features installations. Oh, sorry, performances and exhibitions by South African artists, and there will be digital artists, music, and the theater will be operating and all of that. Questions?
So would you say the monument is kind of like a welcoming space for everyone?
Currently, it's a welcoming space because it says they invite people from like, South Africa, basically, and every like visual artist or the performances hold, and an exhibition. So I think it allows everyone. I'm not certain though is if it's free or not. Any questions? Now we can go on to the second section.
For me, the Amazon Museum has multimedia installations and digital installations. And the reason they do this is so they can combine literature, visuals, and show photos of the town environment, so the visitors can be engaged within the museum when visiting. So they have those type of visuals in the structure, but they also collect photos as well. So if you're not into digitally in that sense, with the digital side, you can also see the photos, see the written letters, books, manuscripts, which are all preserved. So you can clearly see what's happening. So they try to preserve it as well and keep it visually interesting. So when visitors come, they can be intrigued and they're interested with what they're seeing in the museum.
So would you say, since it's a South African based museum, right? Does it hold or preserve South African works only, or are there any other works from different countries and stuff?
When doing my research, it mostly had what I saw was paintings of the local town back then in different times of history. So it mainly focused in the evolution of Makhanda and the Western Cape. So it wouldn't really go out and collect a lot of artworks from outside.
So it's only outfits from Makhanda, or is it
And a few from outside.
other provinces as well?
Yeah, but mostly try to preserve the historical
Elements of the Eastern Cape.
of the Eastern Cape. Yeah.
Similar to Thomas Bain artworks.
Yeah, but I don't think it had a lot of, just like the other museum, it didn't collect a lot of paintings because it differs. Even I visited the museum since I live in Makhanda, so I've seen the different stuff they collect. So they don't collect a lot of paintings, but only a few. But they also have books and other stuff they collect, either from history within Eastern Cape, Western Limpopo, from other South African places.
Okay. And questions, guys. Let's move on to the second structure.
Okay. Rhodes University has a fine art department which offers the faculties for disciplines such as printing making, digital art, photography, painting, and sculpture. So also it has music, which offers music performances. It also has visual structures such as art history. So basically, it allows students to show their talents, or I can say. So the Department of Fine Art, it emphasized the it connects the students with the community and broader cultural dialogues.
Mhm. So the visual culture would be the finance department in
Yeah,
a sense.
yeah,
Then the art, the kind of art should be musical, visual, and drama.
Mm.
Okay. So I guess that's is that all from those. Move on to the next structure.
Okay, for the second question, for the visual culture, usually like street art can like kind of offer a political and a social commentary, like addressing issues such as gender-based violence, um, sexual assault, uh, what else, social justice, etc. It also talks about like shows that people's like cultural identity, such as like Xhosa, Zulu, Soweto, and even like Afrocentric aesthetics. And it also offers collaborative and site-specific works like what am I thinking about like environments, like for example, let's say like the botanical gardens and many more. And they also and some artists who do like street art, they sometimes like experiment with it. Like they add a bit of digital works in it, or they like put I don't know, art like from way long ago, like cave paintings, for example. And yeah, that's pretty much like the visual culture for street art.
Okay. Um, I can add on to the visual culture. I'd say, in my view, it's expressionist because I also worked on a mural early this year. When was it? Last
I think a couple of weeks ago.
weeks ago we were working on our murals, and mine was um, basically expressionist because I was expressing my hatred, not necessarily hatred, but my disappointment in humanity as we pass the homeless people who expect help from us in a way, and we just neglect them. And and it's also known that Grahamstown is a city of saints, and it's kind of like ironic putting it into a sense whereby people, I refer the people to saints. So the people past these people in the homeless people in need of help, there will be negligence, and I I was trying to portray that into us being giving characteristics of like the donkeys and how donkeys are kind of like they don't really care about people or other donkeys to say. So we don't care about other people in a sense. Yeah. So I'd say the visual culture might be expressive.
I want to ask, do you think street art can work with the other schools and, let's say, museums as well? Is it a good connection, or do you think they're too separate?
I think like some parts of it can work well with like museums because like some of them do like offer a social political comment. Others like you said, like expressionist, for example, disappointment, humanity, and more like that. So I would say yes, some of it can contribute to the museums.
Okay. You said that they celebrate the local heritage.
Okay, maybe like not exactly celebrate, but like they like incorporate like elements of their cultural heritage. Not so much as celebrate, but like they kind of like include
Okay.
their cultural heritage within the street art.
See,
The National Arts Festival include the public street art installations, performances, live art, and fine art exhibitions where they allow a roads fine art students to present their work.
mhm. I really don't have much questions.
Do you think the art festival does enough to promote unknown artists?
Yes.
Even those who don't have, let's say, connection to roads?
Yes.
Okay.
So what would be the visual culture in them? I don't have a specific name for it.
Like the different artists or
The visual culture
the visual.
of the whole National Art Festival.
What I've seen is it's usually depending on a lot of South African paintings. Like you know the simplistic paintings South Africans do, the expressionism. So they would, if you go to the festival, they would show those different paintings. Then we have necklaces. Then we have Xhosa dresses. They would also sell those. And then some would sell necklaces with Africa crafting, so they're promoting Pan-Africanism and unity within South Africa. So you would see, I usually see Xhosa culture involved, Xhosa paintings, Xhosa dresses. So I would say those would be the visuals they promote and show, since I'll say a lot of Xhosa people live here.
That's true. So it's in a sense that like contemporary art. Okay. So the next question is how do or could the different art structures intersect with each other within the Makhanda art industry? So this one will be to exchange words. So in terms of the monument and the International Art Festival, your current intersections would be the monument serve as a venue for the National Art Festival, where theaters will be set for performances and uh, for key speeches and exhibitions, and the Standard Bank Young Artist Awards are also held. It acts as a symbolic heart of the art festival, and despite its colonial associations, it acts as a symbolic heart of that festival. So logically, it operates as a festival. It houses the festival operations and ticketing and the guest services for the NFA National Arts Festival, and the in terms of the Rose University, their current intersection would be okay. On many National Art Festival participants are Rhodes drama, music, and fine arts students, or the alumni, the postgraduates, and the monument serves as a performance and exhibition space for the university affiliated work. Like during all week, we all went to all week, right? You didn't.
Yeah.
So during all week, rather, they took us to the monument to show us, to tell us more about the school and how it operates and all that. And that's basically it also serves as it also holds events for roads. For instance, in the past month, there were graduations that were held at the monument. So that's the affiliation with roads. And in terms of the affiliations with the Amazon Museum, their current intersections would be, excuse me. So the Amazon often operate on the margins of institutional spaces due to the class, race, and resource barriers. Also, they may be minimal or a collective, like Amazon. That's their current affiliation with Amazon. And with the street art in Makhanda, the street art in Makhanda, especially in townships like Joseph, they often critiques of power structures like the monument. But it remains physically and symbolically 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 disconnected from it. So they try to portray the power structures of the monument while the monument is kind of like disconnected from the townships. It's a contrast to how it mainly focuses in the suburb and not the townships. That's what I'm understanding. And Makhanda's rich tradition of murals, graffiti, and posted art exists mostly outside of the institutional venues. And that's it for the intersections. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's yeah.
The Mazwi Museum very much intersects with roads, helping all students come, learn the literature, the history, and explore the information collected and the knowledge collected. And it also has a connection with the art festival since it holds exhibitions when the National Art Festival is held. So anybody from outside of Makhanda and live it from international places can easily access the museum, learn about South African history, learn about the language, and mainly the isiXhosa culture and language, since that is collected and it's focused on local. So it can also teach both students, who are lecturers, even locals, a lot of the history within South Africa. So it does have even other museums. If some information is missing from other museums within Makhanda, you can go there and see. And it also is different as it collects a lot of different types of knowledge which they showcase within the museum.
Yeah, yeah, okay. This is what.
Okay. Rhodes University interact with the National Art Festival and the local art scene. So they interact with the National Festival Art Festival because of it is the one of South Africa's premier cultural events. So then the fine art department regularly showcase the students' work at the National Art Festival. So meaning that the students engage in natural art festival events. So they provide underscores the university's role in nurturing artistic talents and contributing to a cultural fabric of Makhanda. So without a natural art festival, Rhodes also engage with local art initiatives such as the street art in Makhanda and the Amazon Museum. Yeah.
Um, I don't have much questions. I can just agree more to its affiliation with both the finance departments to donate in a sense. There are the artworks of the school children. So when was it? This Monday and Tuesday, right?
Monday.
Monday. Yeah. Our outfits got chosen for the National Art Festivals, and they will be presented during the event. Yeah, so I agree to the part.
I would say for like street art, it intersects like such blends seamlessly with like Rhodes University and like the National Arts Festival, as like the National Arts Festival is kind of like, and as well as Rhodes, like it's very inclusive with street art because like National Arts Festival kind of like they incorporate street art into its programming, like introducing like includes all kind of like things ranging from performance art, music, arts, and like the students' talents. And then for Rhodes, like it's kind of like street art. It's like it's part of like the curriculum for fine art students. Like I say in fine arts practice when you go with Mookie, I think and then you do like the art murals. So like it's increasing the fact that like it's in the curriculum for fine arts, especially for like first years. And then for like the Maswi and the monument, I want to say like there's barely any way out how it intersects, but like there's like a little small part of it that can try and like interact a bit with like the literature of a Maswi, and then as well as like I said before, like before the visual culture, like tell me about the social political issues, right? It can like kind of like interact like with with like the history of the monument. And yeah, that's my side.
Nice, nice. I just agree more to the part where you say the in terms of work in intersections with Rose University. So while I was browsing through the Grahamstown newspaper, and I found out that Mook has been working with Rose for about 3 to 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. So he also graduated. He did his masters in Durham University, and basically, the street art, in terms of its affiliations with Rhodes in the fine art department, Mook gets to create murals around Gravestone. For the past years, he's done a lot of art tricks. I'm sure you've seen around.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of his murals are just there, and his style would be like mostly hatching on the figures, and he used the icon donkey to most of his murals. I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, so the National Art Festival intersect with Rhodes University as they use some of the varsity venues to host their events, and also uses the rooms for as the accommodation for the international visitors, and it also intersect with the Amauzi Museum, as it also holds the exhibitions such as the book events and cultural projects.
What about the monument?
Oh, it also uses the monument to when they are hosting events such as drama, theater, and also for street art. It also intersects because it's where street art flourishes during the National Arts Festival.
So, on to the last question. How are the different art structures inclusive or exclusive? And how does gatekeeping function in these spaces? In terms of the monument, it's both inclusive and it has inclusive and exclusive characteristics. For instance, its origin as a monument to colonizers inherently excludes Black South Africans, as the monument was structured as a structure to celebrate their colonialism. So that's its historical symbol, and its architectural and spatial symbol would be it's on the hill, so it looks down on it has an overlook of the land. In a sense, it looks down on people. That might be symbolistic in a sense. And the language and representation would be English. It remains dominant in the programming and exhibitions, and those are the exclusive aspects of it. The inclusive would be it's a platform for diverse voices. So the NFA National Art Festival and other initiatives have used the space to protest their theatres and the decolonial causes and experimental art. That will be the platform for the diverse voices and youth and education programs. So outreach efforts include schools, universities, and local creatives. So there was a school program. I'm not sure which month, but early this year, where there was um, a school from Georgia came to perform their cultural performances. I'm not sure because I didn't until I saw it on one of my friend's statuses. That would be the youth and education programs. So the community engagement would be there are growing efforts to involve historically uh, marginalized communities. That's it from my side.
Do you think it excludes poor people because of the location of
Sorry?
do you think it excludes poor people since of the location?
Yeah, in a sense it does because not anybody has access to it, in my understanding. I went the other day and the security, I would say it was tight for a normal student. So think about the, the poor people. They're automatically rejected.
Go. The Amazon Museum is very inclusive since it collects indigenous history and literature. For example, it's Xhosa, the people, Xhosa language is collected in the literature, so a lot of black people can feel included and see their own history, and anybody can access it, so any race can see and come and learn, especially about black history, South African history, since it's not being promoted enough within schools. So it's inclusive in that way. And especially within the art festival, since anybody can get in, so it's very inclusive for visitors to also come in and engage. Artists as well, performers, dancers. I even once went there to watch a dance performance and music performance. So a lot of artists can come promote the music, the dance moves, whatever, the artworks. So it's also inclusive in that sense. And another one is students. So it has exhibitions, workshops. So for young students, high school, university can also come visit, see the museum, learn a lot. So it's also inclusive for the youth and students.
Nice. We are on to Rhodes University.
Okay. Inclusivity, exclusivity, and gatekeeping at Rhodes University. While Rhodes University was celebrating its excellence in academic and vibrant student life, challenges related to inclusivity persist. The cost of tuition and accommodation can be prohibitive for middle and lower income families. So, potentially limiting access to higher education. So, the residential nature of institution may inadvertently create barriers for students. So, for students from diverse socio-economic backgrounds. Despite these challenges that students face, Rhodes University strive for foster an inclusive environment through various support services, including counseling, career guidance, and community engagement initiatives. So this effort that Rhodes University do, they are trying to gatekeeping and promote a more equitable academic experience for all students. Yeah.
So I can also add on to its inclusivity as it has societies where students can choose to um, experiment and explore with different cultures, activities, or just activities in general. So I also joined uh, my tribe society, the zoo community. I knew it was really nice since I write. I usually expect much from like my race, but then it's amazing. And yeah, I also I also like watching anime. So there's also a society for the anime club where we basically discuss anime related topics. So I would say in a sense it's inclusive. Mhm. So, um,
So for street art, it's inclusive in the fact that like it's like basically open to everyone, and there's also is like a sense of like community engagement with it, since like it's kind of made by, like it was like there's so many art from made from so many people, right? And then I would say it's exclusive when we're speaking into the professional sense, institutional side of art. As like when it comes to like when it comes to like to the street art being so public, it's so exclusive when it comes to like because there's no source of funding when doing them, and like and yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the exclusivity part. And when it comes to gatekeeping, you can say like street art is definitely like the rebel when it comes to like gatekeeping, because like gatekeeping kind of focuses on how what art is allowed in where. Like for galleries, like this art is allowed to be presented. That's when it's not allowed. But but how gatekeeping can be implemented in street art, you can say like an established artist could like say for example this okay, let's say this wall is like outside, right? You can paint it. Let's say an established artist has a permission to use the wall to paint. So like the artist can allow what is allowed to be painted there, what is not allowed to be painted there. And I feel like that's how you can implement gatekeeping. But in the consequences does it prevents from like emerging voices from coming out, like aspiring artists wanna be known, and yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so the National Art Festival is inclusive because it is also an open access, so everyone is given a chance to go and show what they do. And also, it is inclusive because it does a community engagement projects where it holds the free performances attempt to involve local residents as it wants to bring local and national artists together. And it also inclusive because it can be seen as a significant of economic and social impact to the host community as it gives out job opportunities for the community people and students.
so it's about, I don't really have much questions. I guess that's it for our discussion. We've covered all topics, so all the questions. So that's it, guys. We're done.